All the water that comes down out of here kind of washed over the road this year and went down in there, which is going to be where it naturally wants to go. Right now we don't have the money for a culvert, so I'm doing the cleanup on this road today. It's going to take between that big oak and this telephone pole and do a little bit of a cavity so that the water has a place to kind of sink in better until we figure out what we're going to do. And it's never happened before. Just this year we had big snowstorms, they'd melt, and like I said, this road is tipped this way, I'm going to say probably a good foot, and it still filled up to the point where it ran across the road and softened the road pretty bad. So we're going to, like I said, I'm just going to dig a small cavity here and we'll come down through and do some quick cleanup. I'm going to get rid of a couple of those trees on that other side. I also want to try to widen the road a little bit right there. It can go out, I believe the pin that can go out on the other side of these stumps and give me a better place to push snow. This is the last section of road we're working on until we get some more directions from somebody on what to do, what they feel is the most important next. I'm going to give them a suggestion today, and it'll probably take them a week to make a decision. I just want to show you the mess that you can come up with really quick. But I wanted to clean this out to that pin. I'm going to try to make it so that the water bellies down in that and has a little bit of a reservoir down there. And then I think there'll be a day we have to put a culvert across, but the budget ain't there. So I also got sick of when you go to push the banks back, you're hitting these boulders. Get to the edge of this road. This side here I cleaned out, I don't know, 3 or 4 years ago, and I'm just going to clean the leaves out of that today. Probably going to make these trees here disappear. That's where a lot of this fill can go. The pins go in. There's a pin there, and I know the pin up there is 3 or 4 feet off the road, so, but you never know what you're getting into for. Like I said, you clean up the edge of the road, you end up with a load of boulders. I just figured I'd take a shot where we're at this point. Picking some of the rocks out of the road and throwing them up on the corner. Pins in the middle of the road. The property line's still going to be about 6 feet off, but they want to push it out to the maximum they can, and I don't blame them. We'll get rid of that. I just want to show, like when you give a price on something like this, you just don't know. I mean, I'm going to haul better than a 1-ton load of rocks out of here just to dig a little ditch here to make it so water can run off. Every 4 or 5 feet I'm coming up with that many rocks. It's insane. You think nothing's ever an easy task. It's pretty rocky no matter where you dig. Once in a while you'll have one area that will be a little bit of a sandy deposit here and there, but in between it'll be like that. It will be in between something like this. I know this development, I mean, I've dug a lot all through this, and it's pretty much nasty digging everywhere. I know contractors that have come in here to dig foundation holes that have quit on the people. This ain't bad, but it gets worse as you go deeper, the rocks get bigger. I've seen many a guys come in here, even with the big excavators, and rip a bucket too far. Chances are that's a pretty good sized rock right here. Like I said, I'm not sure 100% what we're going to do later on. I think there'll be a culvert maybe going across the road, a small one. What happened is that water that came off that lot for the first time this year just made this road soft all winter long. And the rocks that were poking out, it was hard to stay away from them with a plow. That does look like it wants to come out. So. That's the crap you get with a frickin' plow too when you're plowing. A little sticking up and you think it's a little rock, and then it's something like this. Up to the corner. I don't like digging stuff like this out and leaving it on someone's property. Some people get a kick out of it, other people hate it. I'm going to move a little more of this crap out of here, then I'm going to probably push those 4 or 5 trees over and do a final cleanup. Like I said, I don't think we're putting any material. Maybe 1 ton load, we'll see. I'm hoping I can do it without it, but just trying to make this little cavity take some water off the road. I hate working around power lines or poles. This development had very poor surveying done, and there's roads that aren't where they're supposed to be. I know this road, house at the end, if you look down the road near that white fence, the road, her pin to her property marker is, I thought this morning she said 6 feet. It's like 8 or 10 feet on the, it's literally on the opposite side of the road. That's how far this roads are. There's only so much you can do about it once it's been that way for so many years, but it's kind of a weird thing when there's a private road. I know sometimes you lose if you go to court. Per case, the person that surveyed it pretty much said push it out. You can't push it out to the other side of the road. Don't be ignorant about it, but you got to show your marker. So she just wants to make sure she shows her property markers where they belong. There's a couple lots in this development that are pretty much non-buildable because someone built beside it first. It's kind of like when you got land that gets filled in. Normally whoever buys the first lots and fill it in win. Everybody else has to worry about the runoff. It's kind of a weird thing, but that is the way it works. This ditch line, just so you get an idea, this is probably taking 3 times the amount of time because I'm chasing boulders everywhere. And the same thing, the ones that were in the road that I kept plowing all winter, you're thinking it's going to be a small little rock and it ends up being a big boulder. But that was one of my big things this year. I think I even broke my plow one day when I was here. Like I said, you hit these rocks and it jars stuff. But I don't want to put my truck through that again, so we're cleaning up this section. I know I watch other guys' YouTube videos. They'll dig a ditch on the side of the road. It will look nice and neat, and it's whatever state they're in just has good digging. Pretty much everywhere I work, Maine and New Hampshire is pretty much what you see right here. So to clean up a ditch line, especially to dig it out the first time, just isn't easy. I mean, I'm in my development that I live in, so today is a little easier than some. My daughter's looking for some of this rock, so it's easy to get rid of. Normally I have to load this in a 1-ton truck and haul it off. So about all I'm going to try to save out of it. Anything else is going to just disappear on the other side of the road. I'm good with that. So, like I said, you can't dig around here without coming up with a nasty crap. digging out of this ditch, a lot of it's going to end up on the other side of the road because there's a low spot. And before winter, I think we're going to try to build this up a little bit. A lot of the stuff I do is like this. It's camp roads. I try to find where the pins are, and if there's room on the opposite side of the road to make it disappear, that's what I do. This one here, I mean, pretty much the road committee knows I'm just trying to go as far as I can with the money they had. I also try to pick areas. This beats the crap out of my equipment when I'm trying to plow in the winter. Especially when you have a storm where you got to push the edges, push the banks back. Even getting into this with a tractor, you hit these big rocks, and a couple of them had worked their way up through the road. So it's not like I was just running into it when I was on the edge either. You run into it everywhere. Pretty much the end of today, I got all the catastrophic damage that was done by that storm. And then I think they're going to figure out what they got for money and what the best way to pursue fixing stuff is. Like I said, we're just trying to create a little bit of a belly so the water goes in and doesn't run directly across the road. And that's what we got the budget for right now. So. Try to clean that up, and I got to get them trees pushed over. And like I said, I'm going to try to give them the biggest bang for the buck I can for today, but then I got to move on to some other projects. I just want to show where we're at this point. We ditched that, and like I said, people can beat me up if they want, but if anybody watch the video and see what I dug out of that, I'll probably drop maybe a 1-ton load of gravel here to fill that little cavity and shape it a little bit better. But that's pretty much gives a spot for water to go during a downpour, and for whatever reason we seem to be getting a lot more off that hill for the first time ever. So but do what I can. This is a section of road that doesn't have a lot of good gravel on it, but we'll get going on it. And next thing we got to do is notch these trees and push them over. Yeah, there was like 5 or 6 trees here. I thought the camera was on, but it wasn't. I normally just cut one side of it and push them in the hole away from the power lines. Then I'll grab them with the machine. You can see up the road, I dragged it. I thought the camera was on, it wasn't. When I do tree work, I try to pay attention to that. A lot of guys would have just left them out there. You just never know anymore. It's like some people get pretty ugly, other people are pretty happy that you got rid of hazard. Pinch pull for those, get them up out of there. Like I said, this here, the road pins are kind of where I'm doing stuff anyway, so. Try to pick up the bulk of the brush, whatever I create. Most of this is going to go right back in there, but it's chips. I got to go home and grab one of my other chainsaws. I thought that was the one that I didn't use all last week, but it's the one I used. It's pretty beat up. A lot of the stuff that got taken down by the power company during that storm, they didn't clean up, and it's kind of sitting in the mud and everything else, so it's kind of dirty, so it dulls up the blade, chain pretty quick. Actually messes up the blade too if there's a lot of dirt in it. Come back, cut those stumps down a little bit more with a better saw, and then push this gravel around. shot, get some of this diced up and cleaned up. Figured I'd take a shot where we're at right now. Got a little more to do, and then I'm going to just give it a quick grade and go from there. This is 2.5 weeks later, but I figured I'd end this video. We've been getting some pretty good rain. That ditch seems to work pretty good. Water runs into it off the road. Wasn't the easiest task, but that was one of the jobs I wanted to tackle this year. But overall, this is in pretty good shape. Maybe before winter, I'd like to put a few more loads of good gravel here, but I just figured I'd take a shot. Done and working. We're going to call this video here. And again, I'm going to say, if you like my content, please like and subscribe. Trying to grow the channel. It's growing, not quick enough, but it is. But it is growing. The people I have seem to really like my content. And again, if you got any questions on stuff you've seen in the video, good or bad, I guess, don't be afraid to comment and I'll get back to you. Thanks for watching.